So we know that there's a really good economic opportunity right now because there's a 4% annual growth in the world for tourism right now. And Canada used to be one of the top 10 destinations, and that's not the case anymore. So, well, we know that so many people in the country work in the tourism sector, 1.8 million people. In BC, it's 300,000, 70,000 just in Greater Vancouver. We know that there's an economic opportunity and there's a lot of really good jobs, and therefore by putting that together, I have every single element of a good story to tell. I think that because it wasn't necessarily a priority for the past government and there were cuts in the sector. Now, we now have a minister in charge of tourism, we have a department in charge of it, we've reinvested in Destination Canada, which is our key crown agency in charge of international marketing, which is based out of Vancouver. And so we're making the right investments, but what we need to do is actually show more leadership and also better coordination between all the different stakeholders and all the different leaders, may they be in the transport sector, in the restaurant sector, in the hotel sector, or even in the digital marketing sector. Well, you know, this is the second biggest, tourism is the second biggest industry for BC. So I'm preaching to the converted when I talk to the industry here. My job also is really to position the sector within government to show how much it is an economic story, but also in the eyes of Canadians. And I know that there are many people in British Columbia that believe in that story, and they will help me basically tell that story as well. Well, at the federal level, we have a lot of levers, may it be because of infrastructure investment, because we have also the jurisdiction over everything in line with airline transportation and cruise transportation. Also, of course, we're in charge of visas and immigration. And we have a strong economic development agency, so we invest in businesses. And of course, being the federal government, it is our job to make sure that Canada has a good brand in the world. So that's why, because we have so many of these levers, it is important for the Minister of Tourism, for me, to be able to work with all my colleagues to make sure that there's good coordination to make the right investments. It is a concern. It is a concern for the people that are directly affected, of course, for the people that are fighting the wildfires, but also for the environmental and economic impact these wildfires will have. Of course, the sector is well tooled right now to deal with this issue, but everything we can do to be able to enhance the visitor experience and to make sure that they understand that there's still lots of destinations that are great destinations they can discover that will make sure that we support the tourism sector is key for us. But we've seen a growth of 12% in Chinese tourists, and we know that we can even grow the sector even more within this particular market. I've had the chance to work with the Chinese Minister of Tourism and Culture in the past, Minister Luo. I've had the chance to see him here at home and also in China. The former Minister of Tourism also led a delegation of tourism leaders to China, which also has been quite successful in making sure that there's good partnerships between Chinese and Canadian businesses. But we want to do more, and of course we want to celebrate this important year, but we want to engage with China on the middle and long term. My priority is really to position tourism as a key economic driver. I think that for many years the tourism sector is overlooked and taken for granted. It is a good news story and people believe in its impact, but they don't necessarily see the entire economic output that it has on the economy. And while many countries are really developing their strategies and really taking a leadership to take a good piece of that international growth, we need to do that. But in order to do that, I really need to tell that economic story. Defend the interests of the tourism sector and be the voice of 1.8 million people working in it.